He speaks without pleading. Not because he has everything, but because he has moved the locus of worth from applause to axis. From the outside, it looks like calm indifference. From the inside, it is a deliberate architecture of presence. This episode watches that architecture being built, the quiet reconfiguration of desire from scarcity to center. We will not flatter the tired. We will parse the failure modes that leave a man pleading for affection, overexplaining, overgiving, shrinking himself to fit expectations, and trace how those patterns congeal into a default of need. You have seen it in yourself, the rehearsed jokes, the extra favors, the careful niceties that still go unnoticed. You were told to be good, to be agreeable, and the world learned to ignore you anyway. That history is readable in posture, in silence, in the small punitive tantrums of the ego. This film proceeds like a slow autopsy of validation. Drawing on Stoic practice, Jungian shadow work, Nietzsche's demand for rigor, and an ethically tempered reading of strategic influence, we dismantle romantic myths. Attraction is not manufactured by performance, and power is not purchased by sacrifice. Instead, we show how presence, rooted, unreactive, magnetically detached, operates as an irresistible force because it contains no need to be fetched. It simply is. Expect precise, sometimes uncomfortable analysis. We name the compensations men learn to survive: approval seeking as currency, performative niceness as armor, emotional scatter as a bid for safety. Then we follow the corrective, cultivating limits, tolerating internal silence, practicing refusal as practice of self-possession. These are not tricks, they are disciplines of character. If you are reflective, self-critical, and done with surface-level pep talks, this is a rehearsal in sovereignty. The point is not to teach manipulation, but to reorient the ground from which you relate, to replace hunger with center. Watch closely, the smallest recalibrations compound into an unshakable presence. Ready to stop asking and start standing? Subscribe and download the companion workbook to begin the first exercises. Combo 1-2. He moves like a man who has been cataloging his errors for years, not with self-flagellation, but with a deliberate, almost surgical curiosity. We see the old scripts unfold, the eager compliance, the excess of explanation, the late-night reparations offered like currency to buy approval. Those strategies once felt like virtue, now they read as compromise. From this vantage, need is not a weakness in isolation, but a pattern, an invitation to be taken, to be defined by another's temperature. The narrator knows this because he has watched it repeat, in rooms and in quieter confessions, in men who learned to perform goodness and lost themselves in the applause that never came. Here, the work is not decoration. Stoic practice strips desire down to question, what is mine to command? Jung whispers that an unloved shadow becomes an actor, desperate for roles. Nietzsche demands honesty, not flattering, not kind, but exact about the shape of one's wants. Machiavelli, reframed ethically, teaches clarity of ends and means. Know the field, set the rules you will not violate, and refuse to bargain your center. These are tools for building an internal architecture of presence, not for mastering someone else. The slow passage from lack to center begins with small, brutal experiments. He stops explaining. He asks only once. He learns to sit with the attendant discomfort, the skin-crawling silence, the shadow of withdrawal, and notes what trembles and what holds. Boundaries are not punitive, they are statements of orientation. Presence is not performance, it is the peace of not being moved by every gust. This episode does not offer quick fixes. It offers a curriculum of refusal. Refuse to plead, refuse to overgive, refuse to derive worth from external applause. Instead, cultivate witness, ritual, and a vocabulary for the limits you will enforce. For the man who has been tired of shallow advice, this is a mirror and a map, unadorned, rigorous, usable. If you are ready to stop chasing and start inhabiting your center, act with steadiness. For practical next steps and a guided sequence, look for Combo 12. He reaches the end of the map and finds no applause, only the stillness that follows a long, necessary stripping. In the quiet, we see him for what he is, not a failure, not a conquistador, but a man whose default currency was other people's approval. The narrative has shown how need corrodes attraction. Now, the conclusion names the remedy: architecture over improvisation, center over pursuit. This process is neither fast nor flattering. Stoicism teaches the daily reconditioning of desire. Choose what is within your control, practice negative visualization until craving loses its novelty, and return to duty with a calm face. Jung offers the practice of meeting what you have hidden, not to indulge guilt, but to integrate the shadow so it no longer dictates policy from the subterranean. Nietzsche demands a relentless standard, not for vanity, but for strength, the discipline to say no, the courage to reforge appetite into purpose. Machiavelli, stripped of cynicism here, gives strategic clarity. Withdraw when your position weakens. Reveal yourself on rhythm, not plea. Ethical dark psychology supplies the toolset: boundary, calibrated ambiguity, selective generosity, used to anchor integrity, not to manipulate. Concretely, build a daily architecture. Begin with a single anchor, 7 minutes of breath and posture each morning. Keep a refusal ledger, small denials practiced until reaction softens. Journal a 15-minute shadow conversation twice weekly. Write what he fears, then write the countercommand. Commit to 90 days of minimal giving in arenas that have produced nothing but depletion. Observe the surplus of attention that returns when he stops offering it away. Measure progress by internal metrics: fewer compulsive messages, more silence in the presence of others, a steady voice when stakes are real. This is not cosmetic, it is structural work. The goal is not to win admiration, but to cease being shaped by it. A man who cultivates center becomes magnetically detached, calm, decisive, and ethically formidable. If he is ready to move from theory to regimen, the Combo 12 path waits. A 12-week practice-driven program with 2 companion workbooks and a moderated accountability forum. The exact scaffold to translate posture into presence. Choose the work. The rest follows.